Entering the Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
To the Pat Mayo Experience, the final show before the Open Championship starts. And the fun part about the Open Championship is you might be dead and lost all your money by the time you wake up, but you can prevent that by tuning in at 4 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow as we do the early AM watch along. It's going to be me, Alex Blickel. Maybe some of you will be up to tune in. Maybe you want to come in and chat. I don't know. Drew Matthews from Fantasy Golf Bag is on with me to talk through all of the final stuff before the Open. Drew, the weather flipped again. That's always fun.
I've been tracking it. I think we're just going to fall on our heads because it looks like it's pretty much the same Thursday and Friday. I'm curious your take, and then they could just completely shift in one wave. There could be delays. One wave gets the bad end of the deal.
A couple of people talked to me about that. Like, hey, there could be delays. I don't ever remember an Open Championship having a delay ever.
They typically don't. The reason why I say that is I am looking at the Metropolitan Office UK government weather forecast, and there's already a thunderstorm warning for tomorrow. So, yeah, that's the only reason they would get a delay is the thunderstorms, obviously. So I'm just looking at that. The rain itself would not cause a delay, to your point.
But looking at it, it just looks super windy, kind of rainy. But when I looked at this earlier today, the early guys on the course were getting the best of it. Then all of a sudden, the last guys on the course weirdly got kind of similar stuff. It was the guys in the middle that got screwed over. But now looking at it, and I wrote this up in the newsletter as well, that Thursday just looks like it's bad for everyone.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I was trying to figure out even try not to plan out the delays so much, but if they go through the whole day, there's a little bit of a delay. What does Friday morning look like? And it's going into Friday, it looks the exact same. So even Thursday into Friday, I don't see a huge difference in the waves itself. Like you can see the wind itself drops a little bit in the afternoon. Gusts are pretty much the same. That's negligible in my opinion. So yeah, I think the prudent choice is to kind of stack a little bit each way and then just play the best plays.
Yeah, I mean, you're a former Millionaire Maker winner, so maybe you can enlighten me on this. But I think for the Open, where everyone goes off of one, you're not looking specifically at AM and PM tee times. You're looking at kind of the guys that you like, and then go an hour above and an hour behind them as stacks, because the guys that play at 6 a.m. aren't going to get nearly the same conditions as the guys teeing off at 11 a.m. Those guys are going to be done already.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, it's not a clean AM PM stack. I just mean generally speaking, because honestly, what's the last tee time? Like 4:30? So it's 6:30 till 4:30, something like that.
Yeah, you get 10 hours of tee times.
Isn't that nuts? That's nuts to me.
I love it. I mean, that's why I'm doing a watch along at 4 a.m. I'm going to regret that at 3:55 a.m. tomorrow morning when my alarm goes off, and it's the groggiest show of all time. But I still do like getting up and watching it. It was much easier when I was 24. I was trying to think back, I used to get up and watch this all the time. And then it occurred to me, when I was 24, I didn't get up and watch it. I just, had some fun and just didn't go to sleep.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. I used to watch. I was just a terrible golf nerd. I would watch it at 7 a.m. and then I would watch those guys are finishing. And by 7 p.m., you're watching those guys finish in the afternoon. So, or I guess the reruns of the early morning. So, I could watch golf at 7 a.m. and then 7 p.m. So it's pretty good.
So I want to run my final betting card by you again. This is pinned on X right now. If you retweet it, you get into a draw for a PXG driver. That's always nice. And if you're here watching and you want to leave a question, because we're going to be answering some questions a little bit later on, got to be subbed to the channel. Turn on those notifications as well. And smash the like to the episode. It really does help us tremendously. So here's the card, Drew. Henley, Fox, Hideki, and Straka. I have Fox with 5 places at 80 to 1. I also bet him at 100 to 1 too, because when I saw the 100 to 1, I was like, that's a better number. I might as well bet that. You know how that works, right? Like,
yeah,
you don't want to be the guy I have the number posted because that's what I posted in the article. Then I saw a better number. It's like, well, I'm not going to bet that now.
I did that to Skins a couple weeks ago. It was terrible. It was like 250 to 1. And then by Wednesday, he was 500 to 1. So I bet him again. I mean, how terrible is that? But he still loses. But yeah, I get that. Looking through your card, though, honestly, they all make sense. The numbers on them are crazy high. Like you think about where Hideki is and where he could be. theoretically at the British Open. He just hasn't had a lot of success here, but ball striking wise, Straka 100-1. And then Hindley, I know a lot of people are on Hindley. Fox is just kind of the hot hand, honestly. And that's not the worst thing in the world. So Nick Taylor, I don't know if you saw my tweet today about Nick Taylor. He was, the DP World Tour posted something, all these guys behind one of the holes hitting tee shots. He hit literally a laser and he's leaning like this as if it's crooked. So yeah, Nick Taylor, I've also seen a little bit of chatter on him. Glover, what's your take on Glover? Obviously the recent form's been good, but it's also been on, point and shoot tracks. I'm not so sure I love Glover here. I guess 300-1 is a different discussion, but
it kind of puts me into the mind. Like he and Kirk, I think, are kind of the same. Although Kirk, if we're trying to boil this down to like, we've come up with a bunch of corollary courses. I actually talked to Michael Kim today about it because he messaged me about the Wyndham Clark thing. I was like, listen, man, they told me the information. I reported it. What do you want me to do?
You were breaking news on that too, right?
Yeah, I got the
it.
breaking news. It's like the one and only story I'll ever get to break in my entire life. And I kind of regret it now, just like because I'm tagged and everything. So thank you all to people who credited me for breaking the story. But to see some of these responses, like it's not our sphere of people responding to this. Put it that way. It's like, who are these people and where did they come from?
Well, it's probably better than the Garrett, or what is his name? Horvat, Grant Horvat. Rather not be in those comments.
Well, here's the thing I don't understand about the Horvat stuff. I mean, I completely understand why he doesn't do it, and he probably gets more traction out of saying no to it now than anyway. It's a business move. If I was him, I'd probably do the same thing to churn up interest in myself, knowing I'd probably come dead last in this tournament anyway. So there's really no upside to me playing. Yeah. But people defending him are like 13-year-olds defending Taylor Swift. If these are like 30-year-old men, it's really strange.
Yeah, that was the point that people were making, is like, that's who you're arguing with on these accounts. It's like the 13-year-olds watching YouTube that Grant's the best and he's the smartest guy in the world. I do think I saw a tweet just before we got on about the split A/B testing of YouTube golf, where Liv has kind of gone down that path and the PGA Tour has kind of shunned it. It would be very interesting to see what the ratings would look like as Grant tees off in the Barracuda. Guys tune in just to see how he plays. Doesn't matter if he plays good or bad, just tuning in to see. So I think that was kind of a fumble on both parts, to be completely honest. Yeah,
I think it's more of a fumble on the PGA's part, only because they're not getting a cut of, like, just make a deal with them where you get a cut of the revenue. I told Tambo earlier that I think that the problem becomes like, let's use Michael Kim as an example. What now prevents Michael Kim from doing this at every tournament? And then you have 156 guys doing this at every tournament.
Well, I disagree with the premise. This seemed like an exception, possibly, that could have been laid out there. But yeah, I get the point that you don't want guys. I actually played in just quick story, the US Open qualifier this year. I played with a YouTube guy. I cannot remember his name. He was a big, beefy guy. He qualified. He shot 67. He was actually pretty good. But he had two guys with cameras, one guy right behind him and us all day, the other guy from a distance in a cart filming. So it was kind of inconvenient. Now the PGA Tour is a little bit different. There's a lot of volunteers. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't see how that could be as big of a concern for players, but who knows? Maybe he's doing a bunch of verbal talks. I never heard this guy talking, and the video had him talking into his microphone. So it was kind of, it wasn't a big concern from my perspective. So my point is, from a PGA Tour player, there's a lot of distractions out there already. Why can't, the PGA Tour kind of meet them in the middle with one guy to follow them along? I don't see the issue there, but I think that it was a big opportunity for the PGA Tour to see what YouTube golf could bring them, especially on a week event like that, alternate field event like that.
I don't think they see like one more person tune in. Honestly, I think
I don't know. I think the young guys would. I think the teenagers would have.
It would benefit them in the back end after he puts it together and releases it on his YouTube channel, or hell, work it out with the PGA Tour where he has to release it on the PGA Tour's channel, or there's a video there. Then
they should have done
that. Gets traction, but I don't think you're going to see a bunch of 14-year-olds tuning into Alt Field Golf channel while the Open Championship's going on. Because they watch it on YouTube. That people need to realize that
that's true. They watch it on one channel. They watch it on YouTube.
So think about this. Since I've been working and betting they've been pushing micro betting. Every time I talk to golf executives, even hell, no matter any executive that I talk to when it comes to TV, it's like, oh, micro betting is the way of the future. Micro betting being in-game betting. So they want you to bet by hole. They want you to bet by drive. Here's the thing. No one fucking wants to do that.
No. I did it a couple weeks ago for the first time, and it was very stressful. And it wasn't something you could keep up. Like how am I going to juggle several groups betting every hole? Like if I was at what event did you guys go to the Honda? And you might have gone to another one, but I think like you could set up on a hole. Like maybe you do that. There's a group coming in. You're going to bet on the 16th hole, who makes a birdie or who hits it the closest. Kenny Kim might have mentioned something like that, or Tambo. But yeah, the micro betting is not a very fun. It was Evan Thompson. I see that in the chat. That is the kid that I played with, by the way. Yeah, I think the Bucks would love micro betting, get some action every hole. But yeah, from my perspective, it would be kind of a drag unless you're there on a golf course, which has terrible reception anyways, betting it live on one specific hole.
Yeah, I think you designate the betting hole like a par 3 for the course, and you just because what they try to do with the ESPN bet is like talk about, well, these were his odds before the tournament. It's like, well, great, that's awesome, man. What about now?
Right? Yeah, he was 300 to 1. Yeah, that's all.
So that. Back to Glover to talk about the bets.
Yeah, sorry, I know. Distracted.
Oh no, listen, this is what we're here for. It's been a long week, Drew, and it's going to be even longer when you're waking up at 3 a.m. But Glover and Kirk has won a Kapalua and PGA National. Those truly are, and I think that the Kapalua putting, there could be something to that you see so few slow greens on the course of the PGA Tour that if you can navigate them once, maybe you can navigate them again. Hideki won there this year as well, so that's always nice to see. And Kirk won at PGA National as well, which I don't know if it's like a direct correlator or not. Michael Kim told me it wasn't. He actually said Memorial was probably the closest thing when it comes to getting off the tee and ball striking. Because if you miss the fairway here, he said, just like at Memorial, like you're just absolutely fucked.
Really? I had a different way. I'm interested in that opinion from him.
Yeah, I thought
like bunkers, the rough looked pretty wispy. I think the big misses are a problem, but Memorial, I mean, the rough is 5 inches, so it's a little bit different, I think, from that perspective.
Yeah, well, it's just you get into that like first patch of rough. I went back and I watched Shane Lowry's final round today from 2019, and there's probably like 4 or 5 yards of that rough, and then it's dead. And you can even draw the horrible lie in that rough too, where it's just a hack out.
Talking about the fescue, right? Like
the fescue's up higher than the rough, but the rough itself, it's probably like
pretty bad.
30% of the time you just get not an unplayable lie, but a hack out lie. And then your distance control where it is fescue grass anyway, like the natural grass, not like the long fescue, but that sort of like grow out. It's just their flyer lies everywhere. And behind these holes, there's out of bounds in some spots that controlling the ball is so tough from off the fairway here. And you really do need to control it.
Yeah, they definitely do. I just took it a different way from the miss fairway stuff, but that makes sense. I mean, the driving accuracy was like just under 60%, and even Shane was at 65%. Like there wasn't a big difference in the driving accuracy. So maybe that's to the point. The guys are just prioritizing fairways from that aspect. But it also looked like the missed fairway penalty didn't look crazy high. So that was my kind of interpretation. But it would, I would rather take that from a PGA Tour player than myself. That, yeah, if they're really prioritizing fairways, that makes sense. And I would pin Kirk as that type of guy. Glover, I still don't trust Glover, but Kirk, I can back you on Kirk being, a trustworthy guy, right? On the first tee at the British Open, keep it in play. Don't do anything stupid. I could see that.
Listen, Glover hits his fairways. Tee to green, I think Glover's like 20th in the field. Just get him on the greens, then all of a sudden you got a bit of a problem.
The putting thing is interesting, though. I did not think about Kapalua because, like, these greens running 1.5 feet slower than the PGA Tour, maybe 2 feet on some of these courses. That's a big difference. I don't think, from us in the U.S. realize how drastically that is. Those guys play the exact same speed greens every week. So, like, looking at, 3-putt avoidance and stuff when they're playing Memorial and Bay Hill isn't really the same thing as going over there and playing on 11 on the stemp meter. So, that is interesting because Kapalua, I could see being slower, bigger greens. The 3-putt definitely is a 3-putt avoidance is definitely a bigger priority for those greens. What is your take on last week's course versus this week's course? Because I view it maybe not completely opposite, but definitely not a lot of carryover for those guys that finished on the top of the leaderboard to what they have to face this week at Port Rush. I don't know if you thought about that much.
I have. I don't think these courses are. I don't think that Renaissance Club course is really indicative of any of the open rota courses that
Yeah.
you're going to see. It's. I mean, you know which one it probably is? St. Andrews. It's bomb and gouge at that course. Like you can hit it as long as you don't end up in one of those stupid pot bunkers. You can play from anywhere at the Renaissance Club.
Yeah, that's kind of my take. It was like bomb and gouge, not even a lot of gouge, just bomb it anywhere you wanted up there at the Renaissance Club. So yeah, it's just I was looking through the leaderboard. Obviously, you kind of want to pin some of the Europeans that are playing well. And even looking at last week, I'm not sure I could really tail too many of the guys that played great, or they're going to get steamed up anyways off of one good finish there. But trying to avoid some of those chalkier names.
I bet Wrighton again.
Okay.
And like just to look at it, if you was to talk about form coming in, like I was encouraged to see how he rebounded after a pretty poor start at the Scottish. He ended up T13 in his first real event against top end players. But over his past 7 starts, basically the past 2 months, he has a win, 2 runners up, and you think the step up in class, he gets completely overmatched, and he doesn't. Everyone's playing Marco Penge because he came 3rd or 2nd, whatever he came last week. I think this sets up. I think this sets up better for Wrighton, honestly. Like, Penge is going to crush it. Like, I played him at the PGA Championship. It was PGA Championship or US Open, one of them. He made the cut at it. Like, of course he did. He bombs it a mile. But I don't think that just trying to overpower this course is going to lead to big numbers.
Correct. Yeah, Penge is the main guy that I was looking at because we obviously saw his data from the PGA Championship, I think it was. He looked fantastic. And I was like, nah, we can skip over this guy. And he had a great week. But then when you look at what he did last week on that golf course, I don't see much carryover to this week. Now, can he play good in other areas? Maybe. But he didn't hit his irons great. He just bombed it and took advantage of the shorter irons. So Penge is kind of my I guess my fade of the guys that are going to be popular, I think, from last week. Reeton, I can get behind. I think he'll be a little bit less owned. And I could see that being pretty good. But yeah, Penge is the main guy that you kind of feel naked fading a guy that played so well last week, but I just don't think there's a lot of carryover to this golf course.
Yeah, I'm playing none of him. Like, I'm not playing any of Victor. I'm not playing any of Ludwig. Like, I am going under the impression that maybe they just hit every green in regulation. It's not a factor, but I can just see themselves chipping themselves out of this tournament. Like it's not a bump and run style course. It's not like you can just pull out a putter and putt it up to the green. Like
there's a lot more rough and the hills around those greens. Yeah, they're going to have to be creative a little bit.
Yeah, I actually wrote, when I wrote this up in the newsletter, let me get your take on this. The best DraftKings play of the week is 4% Joaquin Niemann.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be up there. 4% is pretty low for a guy that is beating Jon Rahm, and Jon Rahm's going to be the most popular. So, yeah.
He just falls in that, like, listen, I bet Henley and Straka, I think they're going to be great. Fitz is right there too. He's going to be super popular. They're right below him. You got Victor above him. Like, Cantlay and Niemann just fall into this zone where no one is playing them. And like, where do you like Niemann? You like Niemann at like wind affected courses where he can keep the ball low. It felt like the Open Championship would always be a good path for him. It's just funny that everyone just talks about how great he is, bets him at every other major. Now he's 60-1, $8,200, and no one wants him.
I think he lets down so many people in these majors where we think he goes 3 wins in a row on Live. Okay, he's finally going to do something. The U.S. Open doesn't do anything. So I think it's probably people just getting tired of it. Not so much. He is playing pretty good golf. I think people are just kind of getting tired of playing Niemann or hearing about Niemann and then playing him and nothing ever transpires from that.
Maybe it's because I never play him or never bet him that I'm now willing to step up and take a few of the bullets, but this is the spot where I would want him when no one's on him.
Absolutely. Yeah. The ownership itself is fantastic. It's more of like, what is his problem in some of these majors where he comes in with great form and just doesn't seem himself, and maybe it changes this week. Do not hate him at all. Definitely going to play him. I just less of a comment on the best play at 4%. That's totally fair. I am going to play Niemann. I don't know. He's a frustrating guy in some of these events. I just don't understand how you could be quote unquote dominant on the live events with, the top 10 guys, 15 guys are still pretty good golfers and just don't do it when you have to, when you finally get an opportunity. I don't get it.
First round leader bets. I cherry picked from the AM and PM on this, and then I just decided to roll with some of the guys who I'm rolling with for the tournament. So I have Henley at 66, Cam Smith, who's in the third group out, playing a little bit better last week, and we know he can putt on these slow greens. So when it comes down to first round leader, Cam Smith might just have 18 putts for the entire day. Who knows? He's 80 to 1. Tom Kim, who I actually really like this week, is 100 to 1. Chris Kirk and Lucas Glover both at 150 to 1. Tom Kim's interesting. He fired his caddy, or they parted ways. He just can't drive or putt right now. It's weirdly like the Hideki thing. If you could just tell me that Hideki was 20 yards below everyone in distance, but hit every fairway, I'd be confident he would win this week. It's just he's like hitting it out of bounds off the tee. And Tom Kim somehow is just doing nothing off the tee, but the approach play is like out of this world good.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it's really spiked the last two events for sure. He was struggling in other other aspects of his game prior to that. But yeah, the off the tee is definitely holding him back. And this is obviously an event or a golf course. We kind of touched on it briefly that, off the tee is not something that's really going to be a spot to gain a lot on the field. So yeah, this is an opportunity for a guy like Tom Kim to put the driver away or at least lean a little bit more on accuracy. Maybe he's been trying to bomb. We kind of saw Fitzpatrick go through this a little bit. I don't know if that's what Tom Kim's doing. But yeah, this is definitely a golf course where maybe he feels a little bit more comfortable just playing his own game off the tee at least. And then his approach has been good, to your point.
And he's, Byron's been putting this out all week, but, major champions, generally speaking, have at least a second place finish in a major before winning one, which is crazy to think about. And then you go back and look at the list. You're like, it's kind of crazy. Like Tom Kim, he's got his second place finish at an Open championship already. Most guys who win the Open also have like a previous top 10 at the Open too. Morikawa was kind of the one that blew that out of the water.
He did that in a couple majors, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like his first attempt at, is it the PGA or?
Yeah, it was the PGA. His first attempt at the Open. He won in his debut at the Open.
I know it was the Open, but I think he did it at the PGA, if I'm not mistaken. That was his first PGA championship, and then he won that. Like that was the only player ever to win his first two majors on his first tries, I think. Could be wrong on the actual stat, but I think that's what it was.
What do you make of him this week? I kind of like
it. Dude's a head case. I don't know. I want to play some of them. I definitely want to play some of them. He's been too good. The last couple of weeks have been a dip. I don't know mentally or family wise what's going on. That's definitely a problem. But yeah, if everyone's going to hop off after a couple bad finishes, I will be happy to play him, at 10% or something like that. But he's just been so good. Been playing him too much. I'm kind of on that same train of the Neiman, I guess the other side of that, where you keep playing them. People are getting off the train. Might as well just stay on like one more stop. Let's see what happens. The whole other stuff with like the caddy changes, his stupid comments that he makes to the media. It's hard to decipher what that is. Same with Rory. Rory does the same stupid stuff. But yeah, I do think Morikawa is worth going back to one more try. If you look at everything up to last week, it's been fantastic.
And that's what he did before he won the Open too. He bombed in Scotland, then went and won the Open.
Yeah. I definitely want to play some for sure. It's just not going to be crazy. I don't have a crazy hot take. The stupid comments always throws me because now I think like, okay, he's already thinking about home. Something's going on at home. He's ready to get out of there. I don't know. But yeah, he played so good. Like you guys can go through every single event he's played this year. I mean, he was one of the favorites, if not the favorite, in every event he's played. I don't think one bad finish, really two. I guess Travelers is a bad finish. Should scare people off of him.
So those are the first round leaders. I played one head-to-head. You can find all of this. It's pinned at the PME. It's in the newsletter as well, just the cheat sheet of everything that I'm running through in terms of bets. I played Spieth over Goddard head-to-head at -110. Just thought, let's calm down with Chris Goddard because he beat up a course and putted the lights out. That doesn't really have much to do with, I think at least, what's going on this week. I played a miscut parlay, Wyndham Clark and Sahith Theegala, who's back in the field this week, +262. I put out the bigger one, the 25 to 1 one in the article as well. Barracuda, I don't know if you're paying attention to that. I bet Max Homa at 28 to 1, Putnam at 45, and Trevor Cohn 100 to 1 with 5 places, and played Lee Hodges 50 to 1 first round leader.
Yep.
You got Barracuda hot takes. Were you gonna bet Grant Horvat?
I was not. No, I was not. Maybe they missed the cut. No, I don't. I don't have any Barracuda hot takes. The Open has definitely taken my attention. Unfortunately, I'm not as versatile as you, Pat. The Homa, I've seen a couple people tail that already. I assume that came from you, so I would, jump aboard the Homa train. It is funny. I was gonna make a joke about Homa's number at the Barracuda at 28-1, thinking like, oh, the Open Championship last year, he was probably 28-1. No, he was 129-1. So even last year, he was starting to suck. But yeah, no strict hot takes. I do like Trevor Cohn. I like that play quite a bit. Hodges first round lead, impartial to. But yeah, Homa, Trevor Cohn, I can get behind that.
Someone told me that there was more of a weather split at the Barracuda than there is at the Open Championship. Now, I didn't look into that. I just chose to believe that guy, that random internet person who told me, but I'm rolling with it.
That's fair. That's all I need, actually. And then you can blame them when that doesn't happen tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. Why do you think I have a career? This is what people do.
I like it. I know.
I say it, they listen, it loses. Like, Pat's a moron. Not my fault.
I know. I need to learn more from you about that stuff. It's like, what do you think about that? Whatever you want to do. That was your fault. You should have done that. I wouldn't have done that if I were you. You didn't tell me what to do.
So if you I know was it one of your subs last week, or was it you who just played the single bullet everywhere and dominated?
Confusion. No, Hamhock, who won the NASCAR Millie a couple years ago. I don't know if you know Kenny. He does college football. He's a very good DFS player. He won single bullet, second place in the $25. He won all the big dollar stuff. Won a couple 4K Millie Maker tickets. Just completely crushed. But single entry taking down the big GPP. Obviously, the dream would be a single entry taking down a Millie Maker, which is just astronomical. But that's pretty good. 100K, $25, and then he won another 100K off the 555, if I'm not mistaken.
So how would you go about creating a single entry for the Open Championship?
Yeah, this is a good discussion. Scotty's price is definitely a problem. So the way I typically work when I build a single entry is I start as far down as I feel comfortable, whether that's finding one value I can kind of, stick to, or mid-price guys that I kind of want to build a core around, and then kind of work my way up, especially if I'm, especially in a field like this where you got Rory, Rahm, and Scheffler. If it was just Scheffler and then a drop off to, I don't know, Taylor Pendrith, you would have a different decision there. But yeah, I've been doing more with Rory just because of the salary savings off of Scotty. Talked about it last week, and we could kind of argue on the course fit. I mean, Rory has had some success here, but I do think Rory is, has some type of leveling effect with Scotty on this type of golf course in these conditions. So Rory's been the play there. Going down, having to try to play 6K guy. I have tried to avoid the 5Ks. I'm trying to think. I think Fleetwood is a very good price for his safety. I just built this like 2 hours ago, Pat. I'm trying to think through the other.
Was Harry Hall the 6K guy? Because that seems to be the de facto 6K guy everyone's using.
Harry Hall?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Harry Hall.
Was it Nick Taylor? Because I'm using Taylor, Kirk, and Glover.
Nope. 1 second. I'll pull it up.
Mav?
No.
So someone had a question about Daniel Berger at triple digits. I don't think I'd bet Berger to win. I think it's 6,600. If you go and look at his profile, and I know that you use slightly different statistics, the spectrum data versus just the overall strokes gain data, but I can't figure out what happened to Berger's short game. It's unbelievable how bad it is.
Yes, I can take a look at it here in just a second. It's Nikolai Hogard, actually. So I think you're not on him as much because the Bombers are negated a little bit.
You took Hogard, you say?
I played Hogard, Nikolai, not Rasmus.
Yeah, I want you to look at this Berger stuff. He's basically turned into Ryan Gerard around and on the greens. But he's a perfect fit for this course in my to think about Berger, how he plays. Low ball flight, accurate, great irons, generally great at chipping and putting. Not anymore.
Yeah, we give him a bump up last week around the green. But yeah, he's off the tee has been fantastic. Approach has been really, really good. Extremely good last week. Putting and around the green has been the big issue. His putting's been bouncing back and forth. As far as making up anything for that, I don't know. I mean, the US Open around the greens, I can give you a pass. Like you have a bad week around the greens at the US Open. that goes. Travelers Championship, not as much leniency there. And then last week, like I said, we give him a bump up on around the green. I think I want to say he had 6 3-putts, and then he lost 2 strokes on 2 holes around the green. So he must have chipped it across the green or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's now
it's
lost
kind of
putting.
funky.
He's lost putting 7 of 8 weeks now.
Yeah, I know. That's not something you want to have here. And the 3 putts last week are also deterring me. I'm going to play him. Ball striking wise, it looks great. And sometimes with these events, especially with the weather, I'm hoping you can just kind of hang around, I guess, is probably the best way to phrase it. Like a guy, even like Chris Kirk. Like I could see Chris Kirk hanging around long enough to be in the top 10. And all of a sudden on Sunday, he finishes out and he's in the top 10. Berger, I hope, would fall into that same category where, hitting fairways, hitting greens. He's not an idiot on the greens. Hopefully he doesn't miss too many and he finds his way into the top 15. But the ball striking definitely looks very appealing. So around the green, I don't know what to kind of put that to.
So let's get to some of your questions right now. So Michael asks, let's see here. Thoughts on Keegan Bradley? Seems like a good course fit. Now that he says it, it actually does seem like a course fit. I did not think of him at all this week.
I did. I think I've been in Twitter too much. His ball striking has been pretty good, but the arguments that I heard were basically his ball flight's too high. He's going to have a tough time with these greens. Around the greens, he's going to have a tough time, which is around the green game's been pretty good, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't have any Keegan as of now. And I think that's too much bias off of me listening to people. Statistically, he grades out okay. We kind of like deduct a little bit off of some of the weaker fields or like the signature events because they're not a full field. But overall, he's been pretty good off the tee, pretty good on approach. I can't really argue with anybody against it. It's more of like, what do you think he can do for 4 days here?
If Brian Campbell makes the cut, is he an automatic live bet to win? If there's any major where he would have a theoretical chance, it would be the Open.
I know. We were just talking about that in our chat too. Because if you go down in the 5K range, like there's a handful of guys that you don't even know their name, have no business even, being with the PGA Tour players in this field. You have Brian Campbell down there, 2-time PGA Tour winner. Granted, not the strongest of fields, but it's still a PGA Tour. Like those are still a big deal. You could get through the cut. It wouldn't be too surprising if it comes on Sunday and he's in the top 10. Looking back, you'd be like, oh, it's so obvious. Obviously, he was playing good. So yeah, I don't have much Brian Campbell, but I have recommended looking at him. To your point, this is a golf course that kind of fits everything he does well as far as hitting it somewhat straight, not hitting it long. Okay irons.
Yeah, Sean in the chat says Brian Campbell might hit a 185-yard drive into the wind.
Yeah. I was following last week on, I forget, I was tilting and Byron was upset with me, but I was following Denny's group. I had a bet, like a 10-leg parlay. I had 3 legs that were left. Everyone else was a winner. Denny was down 2 to Langasque, and he hit it 240, 246 and had 255 left into this par 4. And I just could not believe it. Like, we're running out of holes here. And this guy hit a 245 into I don't even know, 25 mile per hour wind at most. Oh man, it's frustrating. But yeah, Brian Campbell is so short. It's kind of unreal what he's done this year with everybody being bombers to be able to win one on Mexico, which is a bombers track, and then the John Deere Classic, which makes a little bit more sense. But still, kudos to him. That's impressive.
Cash Chucker asks, what are your thoughts on Cam Young this week and his DK ownership? I think it's going to be down. I don't think he's a terrible play. Those are famous last words with Cam Young.
Yeah, I'm not going to fall for the trap this year. I was getting tempted, a month ago. He started to look better. I think it was into the U.S. Open, right? He qualified on Monday for the U.S. Open, got into the U.S. Open, was playing good. I think he played good the week after. He kind of started dipping a little bit after that. So I am going to pass on Cameron Young this week.
Laurie Cantor fan does not have a question about Laurie Cantor. It's about Steven Jagerbombs. Thoughts on Jager minus 160 to miss the cut. Lost it off the tee, missed 2 cuts in a row, including a WD in Detroit. That actually makes a ton of sense to me, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping you could shop the line and get a better line than minus 160, but yeah, that's
Well,
pretty
listen,
safe right there.
maybe I can. Let me check out Cool Bet right now. Yeah, if you're in Canada, outside of Ontario, you can like hit up the PME promos and everything over at Cool Bet. Open Championship miscut. Let's see here what we got cooking. No, I don't want futures. There we go. Cut Steven Jaeger. Minus 130 to miss the cut. Even go to Cool Bet. Save yourself 10 cents per dollar.
There you go. I was going to see what our Sims had him at really quick. I had it up just a second ago. I'm curious if that's value. We'll see how close I am to Vegas. Just kidding. Have to rerun it. Disregard.
Yeah,
keep going.
I
was curious if like minus 160. That seems pretty low, but yeah, maybe that's a pretty good line.
Yeah, then minus 130 is like okay.
Minus 130, yeah.
Not so bad. Let's see. Can we talk some first round leaders? I think we just did that. The only one I might add is Neiman. Just now that we've talked it through, it's like, of course he would be first round leader.
Probably, yeah. What'll happen though is it'll be a guy, at the top of the leaderboard that nobody bet just because they were 20-1 in the first round leader market. But that's how it seems. You get
Scotty,
guys that
first
chase,
round leader,
probably, or Xander. I don't know. Did you have Fleetwood in first round lead? It'd be someone like that. Like you bet him outright. You didn't bet him outright, but like someone bet Fleetwood outright, and then first round leader. Then he finishes T22.
Well, I'm. That's how I feel about Straka. That I have like a lot of money on Straka to win, and I bet Henley first round leader, but not Straka because he was going. I just did not like his price for first round lead. So inevitably, he's going to be first round leader.
That's how it works.
Let's see. Thoughts on a very low owned Akshay? Can he get his groove back here? I'm not super in the business of taking guys with no form, weirdly, unless they're old dudes at the Open. Because old dudes will just be like, oh, this is a much better course for me.
Yeah, like Stuart Sink comes out of nowhere this week, just kind of, shoots even par 4 straight days. No big deal. Yeah, actually,
Harrington could legit do that this week.
Harrington's good, and he's as long as some of those top guys. Not that it matters so much this week, but I mean, he is not the prototypical old guy in the field anymore. Been pretty impressed with what he's done. Well, where is Angel Cabrera at? That's the guy I want to play.
Really?
Yeah, Angel Cabrera.
What's Angel Cabrera in the low senior market? I feel like he must be way back.
Is he really playing? I was joking.
Because
obviously I don't have my Champions Tour stats pulled up.
I would think he won an event on the Champions Tour. I don't see why he wouldn't be playing.
Well, we're going to find out.
Let's see.
No, Angel Hidalgo's in the field. I don't think Cabrera's in here.
Well, that's too bad.
I would definitely be playing a little bit of Angel Cabrera. The dude is just on fire.
Somehow, in the low senior market, I've seen this across the board. Oh, they did add him. Okay, so Lee Westwood has been added to the low senior market. Harrington's the favorite. Harrington, Mickelson, Sink, Westwood, Clark, KJ Choi, and Justin Leonard. Yeah, no Angel Cabrera.
Yeah. Keep an
pretty
eye on
good
that.
odds on, like, I guess that you have 3 favorites, really. You get a 20-cent penalty on Harrington, but Westwood, it feels like he's going to play well.
He wants to. I was looking up. I got all the live stuff I was looking at. He hasn't been terrible. Honestly, his worst stuff has been around the green and on the green. So, like I said, just some of these guys could just get through, just hit enough greens, hit enough fairways, and maybe not make a fool of yourself around the greens. I think Harrington's too strong of a bet there. I wouldn't want to bet against him.
Garrett says 2 guys he is not hearing anything about. Nikolai Højgaard, who you recommended him for single entry, so that's where we're at. And Denny, who you brought up. He had the bad week last week, but good weather wave and has been solid. Again, I don't think that there is a good or bad weather wave here.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that. Denny, I am not immune to recency bias. Denny hurt me last week, and I won't be playing him this week. Don't completely hate it. Going back to what we talked about for the course, not rewarding bombers. Denny would probably fit the bill, and this would be a perfect song for him to come back after me ditching him for a week, and he does well. Nikolai is just playing really good, even aside from being great off the tee. Irons and everything have been great. I think he's kind of trending in the right direction as well. He's obviously playing much better than his brother, but Nikolai I do like quite a bit here. Price is $6,500. there's some pretty good prices there in the 6K, mid 6K range.
Yeah, I have a dummy lineup in the 200 single entry right now because it has Harry Hall in it. I'm just not going to play Harry Hall in that. Just it was one that I put in. But I think I like the bones of this lineup. Let me run this one by you. It's Rory with Morikawa, JT, Straka, Hideki, and then Harry Hall.
Yeah.
What do you feel about
the
that
Harry Hall,
style of lineup? I mean, Harry Hall could be Chris Kirk, Glover, anyone from down there.
Yeah, everything else I like you have a blend of, strong floor, probably eating some ownership. And then with Hideki, I don't think he's going to be that popular in single entry.
I don't think that Rory is going to be that popular in single entry. I think you're looking at people will pay for Scotty or they're just going to take Rahm.
Could be.
Like you'll end up with, if let's say Rory is 20% in the 25 milli, I feel like the higher you get in stakes, he's going to drop.
Yeah,
that'd be my guess.
Because they're just jamming. A lot of people just kind of jam projections and optimals, and Scotty does have a pretty strong projection edge over Rory, despite the price. Yeah, for me, building it, Rory is the lean. It's kind of just because of the salary. I don't want to, and especially in single entry, I'm trying to avoid having to punt off a low 5K guy or even a high 5K guy. So that's just the way I would go. I bring this example up all the time, and I know it's so like adolescent, but like you have two options now. You get yourself in a position to try to get to Scotty, or you could save 3,000, and now you're bringing a 6K guy up to a 9K guy, and you still get a 11K Rory. Like it's a big difference in that salary when you start to think about your other players in your lineup. So that's the reason why I go that route for single entry, is just try to go a little bit more balanced, mainly avoid the landmines that are the cheap guys, and inevitably the expensive landmines will pop up, but that's the plan at least.
How about this one? I'll run this one by you. Rory, Morikawa, Neiman, Henley, Glover, Leishman.
Leishman.
I like Leishman. Great wind player.
Yeah. He's not I guess he's driving it okay. I'm not too high on Leishman
this year.
Yeah, I know. I think back to when he was on tour still. I don't watch a ton of live golf, unfortunately. So it's just looking at what his numbers are. Yeah, I'm not on Leishman, but I'm very easily persuaded, as you can see. So I'll play a little bit of Leishman. For single entry, is that a single entry lineup?
Yeah. Too risky? I usually play off the wall lineups in single entry, which has been very good for me because I either come like dead last or win a bunch of money. I'm not in cash.
Understand. I think I think you could go off the wall and still not go off the wall 6 times. I'm not saying that one was off the wall 6 times, but like Leishman at 6,700 isn't cheap enough, in my opinion, to feel like I'm getting a leverage when there's other guys, like I said at the top of the show, like PGA Tour caliber guys that still have a couple stroke advantage over the other tours that are playing this week. I would try to find an alternative over Leishman in a single entry. In the Millie Maker, absolutely. Leishman sounds like a very good option. No one's going to play him. Again, I think if you look at the price, I would try to find somebody a little bit cheaper. You talked about Tom Kim. Like maybe Tom Kim's a leverage spot. He still has pretty good stats leading into this, and he's not Mark Leishman. So, that's just the kind of the thought process I would go to. Now, if like DJ 6,300, I actually like DJ quite a bit this week. But like if Leishman was 5,700, then I could see the reasoning behind punting him off to try to make something work with Scotty as an example. Like, okay, I saved an extra 1,000 off of these guys I could have played. This allows me to play, John Rahm and Scheffler somehow together. And then I've just played a bunch of cheap guys. So it just seems expensive, but that's just me.
So how about this then? Something a bit more balanced. You go Xander, Hatton, McIntyre, Straka, Henley, Fox. Or is that the easiest build you could have? And
I do like the build. I do like it though. Yeah, I mean, just in single entry hand building, it's just so much easier to feel comfortable not spending up too high on the first slot, and then the rest of your lineup just feels like everybody's about in the same caliber, despite the salary differences. So yeah, I would lean into that a lot more than punting off Leishman, and then I think you had someone else lower than him too.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go. I think this is the one that I'm going to play in the $200. I'm going to go Xander, Neiman, Morikawa, Hideki, Straka, Thomas.
Yeah. That to
feel
me
like-
sounds better.
I feel like all 6 of those guys have a chance to win. Maybe not the best chance, obviously, but they all have a chance to win. And if you do get the winner in single entry and you do get the 6 of 6, you're going to be in like the top 5 percentile.
For sure. That's why I think that floor matters quite a bit in single entry, especially in these majors. Because the pricing there's a big disparity in like having some of these 6K guys that are honestly not much different than some of the 7K guys. This week, not so much in the 5Ks, but I think there were a few in the PGA Championship. There were some 5Ks that seemed pretty viable. But I would rather build the floor up from the bottom. And then if Scotty wins, and so be it, I get a 6 of 6 across, I feel pretty good about myself. So that's kind of the way I would go with single entry. There's just not enough reward, I don't think, to go off the wall. Usually the Millie Maker stuff is where you would see the biggest benefit. Because, like, honestly, if Leishman won and you had the nuts, I assume you play him in some other contests too. But man, I would be a little upset if I only won the 200.
All these lineups are either in the 5, the 25, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm just picking one of those. Should I play Dietrich because I'm drinking a Belgian beer? Left?
You should. You should also play DJ.
I'm not playing DJ. You can have fun with that. It's not a Coke competition.
It can be after he wins. I do like
if you have to do like if you have to do a line a hole, then I know who I'm taking.
You know, on the Live website, there is, very big anti-doping clauses everywhere. So like they're really about it, apparently.
I'm sure they are.
I think that's one of the old things. Like if you have to tell me, it's probably not true. Like if you have to really tell me in my face.
Oh, you always like these sort of things. Any strategy or advice for the DK King of the Course promo? I saw Tom Kim returned over 13,000 in free bets for the ones who picked him at the U.S. Open.
So I've seen those. I don't know what it is because we don't have DK Sportsbook down here. But I've seen those guys. They have some type of bet, and then if they get it or miss it, whatever it is, they get a big return if they didn't pick like the most popular guy. You don't have to explain it to me.
I actually have no idea what it is.
Okay.
I was hoping you did.
No.
The King of the Course does not have tournament winner. The King of the Course is awarded to the player who finishes with the most birdies or better across rounds 3 and 4 combined.
Okay. So that's it? You just pick one guy?
Yeah, just take Justin Thomas.
There you go.
He might shoot +8 and have the most birdies or better somehow.
Yeah, because I assume there's the game theory with that single person is you don't want to take Rory that, he makes the cut and goes off on the weekend because he's 50% owned. So, yeah, you want to go down the board a little bit. Find somebody that can just light it up.
Let's see. Are we just ignoring JJ Spawn, who won a possible similar conditions major at the U.S. Open? He is cusp picked to win, if people need to know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've not looked too much at him, and it's probably a mistake. I just don't see him. I don't know. I just don't see him fitting this golf course that well. Not from a driving aspect, but just like the conditions. I feel like that could be a problem for him. But statistically, he's been okay.
Yeah,
I'm not on him.
Someone asked if they don't want to get banned, but they're asking about Ben An. I'm okay with Ben An questions. Do you think he has a chance at a top 20? I just don't feel like he's been playing well enough.
Yeah, I don't think he's been playing well enough. If anything, it would have been last week. That would have been his best chance. So, no.
This guy just keeps flooding the chat. Big dog. Well, I'm sorry, pal. You're banned for fucking life. Get out of my channel. No one's in the chat to hear what you say, pal. They're here to ask us questions. And you're clogging it up. I don't like it at all. Banned for life. Fuck off. Beat it, pal.
There we go.
Do you ban people for life? I mean, banning people for life from the channel is like my favorite thing to do.
I don't usually.
You should.
Usually don't have to. I think I just end up ignoring them, but I don't know.
I read it and I'm like, now. Thoughts on Spieth first round later? Good weather wave? ? Again, don't worry about the weather. Just go for it. I'm not betting. I told you who my first round leaders are, but sure. Spieth in his first round back from injury is probably tough. I just need him to beat Goddard. That's all I need him to do.
Yeah, we didn't talk too much on Spieth, but I know you had that bet. I'm playing him. He would be like one of those Millie Maker type plays because I don't think people are going to play him. He's like, 6% or something like that. Was playing good before he went out for paternity leave or broken wrist, whatever he was doing at home. And he's obviously have a great track record at the Open. So I like the upside there for returning Spieth.
Let's see. Cracker Drafter says, give us some cheap plays. I mean, again, they're in literal list form in the newsletter if you want to go check that out. But I'll just click on the newsletter and just read off the plays to you. I listed all the guys that I'm playing below $7,000. Let's see. Minwoo Lee, Aaron Rye, Mark Leishman, Tom Kim, Lucas Herbert, Tom McKibben, Matt Wallace, Lucas Glover, Chris Kirk, Michael Kim, Nick Taylor, Jordan L. Smith, Max Grazerman, Kevin Yu, Christopher Rayton, Nicholas Echeverria, and Matt McCarty. That's the list. And I'm not playing I'm playing at least 5% of all of them with a max of 15%. And I don't think any of them actually got to 15%.
Yeah, I like that. I'm on a lot of those. Nico Echeverria, Matt McCarty is the cheap the 5K guys. I had one more down there. I'm trying to figure out who I put in. You can continue. There was I know Jordan Smith's going to be popular in the 6K range.
He's not going to. When you say popular, what do you mean by populer?
I mean, he'll be probably 15%, 12%.
No, Jordan Smith. If he's more than 4%, I'll be fucking stunned.
He's going to be more than 4%, Pat. There's got to be.
No, not a chance.
Well, that would be great if he is.
Well, I want to see what the projection I have him on a. Now I need to look into this. Maybe I'm just not seeing it, but I have him below Nick Taylor in terms of ownership.
I think people look back at last week and look back at his recent results, and
I have him Jordan Smith. I have it 3.2% ownership. I
think it'll be a little higher, but maybe.
Well, you think it's going to be 15%?
Yeah, I do. I think it'll be over 10. Maybe 15 is a little bit overzealous, but I think 10. We'll say 10.
The only two players cracking 10%, and it might only be one of them, Harry Hall will, and then maybe Harris English.
See, I don't think Harry Hall would.
Harry Hall is like the play down there that everyone's playing. He's like the only guy people are talking about.
Not me. I do see he's over 10% in my stuff. Yeah, I don't know. To look through. Yeah, I have Jordan Smith at 4.5%, but I think it'll be higher. Again, maybe shooting from the hip there at 15% is a little bit crazy, but approaching 10, I guess I'll back down a little bit. But I do think he'll be relatively popular. I don't know. 4.5%, I guess is not, but 10% would. So let's just say he would be over 5. The other one down there in the 5K range, I did find it. It was, oh gosh.
Are you sure you found it?
I did, and then it moved on me. Stand by.
This guy wants to play Kokrak. Irons are flushing.
No.
Is an actual best spot in the tee times. Again, you don't fucking know that. You have no idea. And you can play Jason Kokrak at an Open Championship. You go for it. Go nuts.
Yeah, there's no Kokrak discussion here.
Rosner or Nico? It sounds like we both like Nico.
I do. Yeah.
I think Nico's one of it's weird to correlate him to Bubba Watson in a weird way, but dude scores DraftKings points.
He does. He's always making cuts. He always seems like he's near the top of the leaderboard at some point whenever he plays. I did find the guy. It's Lindell. I don't even know his first name.
Yeah, he sounds great.
Oliver Lindell. He's 5,400. Again, just trying to find like bottom of the barrel guys that are worth a damn. So Lindell would be, passing. Ownership projected 0%. It's wrong. It's 0.01%.
Are you sure it's not 17%?
It would be if I was the only person in the contest. But
Adam Scott, Justin Rose, Jason Day, or neither of the three. I think of those three, the only one I'm playing is Adam Scott.
I'm playing some Rose for sure. I don't know, just Open Championship history, the type of style that he likes to play. So I do like Rose there. I do like Adam Scott. What was the last one? Jason Day?
Yeah.
I'm not playing Jason Day.
What do you know about McKibben, who has said he's played the course 80 times? He's in my player pool. I don't have the sort of expectations for him that seemingly other people do. And listen, as someone who played, you played professionally for a while, so I guess you would know this. But I feel like we did this with Ryan Palmer for years at the Colonial. It's like, well, it's his home course. Of course he's going to play great. The course in championship conditions probably doesn't really resemble the course that you play all the time. I'm just spitballing that here. We rarely see guys go out at their, quote, home course and play great.
Yeah, the biggest advantage to a home course is the greens. You know, if you played it that much, you would know almost every single break on every single green. So that's a big advantage. Outside of that, it's not like a lock for you to play well. He is a very good player and he's playing well on live. Yeah, I do like McKibben. He's in my player pool as well. And I know Sky bet him this week, but yeah, McKibben's good. The whole played at 70, 80 times home course, whatever, doesn't hold a lot of weight. I think that doesn't hurt, but yeah, it's more so I think he's playing pretty well. I think this fits his style. That's pretty simple.
Thoughts on Bez and Nick Taylor? I like Nick Taylor. I'm so over Bez. I'm not playing that guy. People seem to like him though.
He had a good run like 3-4 weeks ago. He looked like he was finally turning the corner, but no thanks. Nick Taylor's totally fine. He was the one guy I mentioned. You'll get a kick out of it if you go find that tweet, Pat. It's like of all the guys, he hits one. Everyone else hits, a big cut, or like Rahm hits like a 30-yard cut, and he's just loving it. And then you got Nick Taylor literally goes up on the shot tracker line, straight down on it. He's like, oh damn, is a little bit to the left. It's like, no, dude, it's dead straight. So I don't know. I get a kick out of that. Like these guys, man, they are pretty good.
Listen, this is what I want. I want the guy who hits the ball dead straight.
I know. He sold me right after I saw that. I was like, well, he's in.
Rahm to choke is my prediction. Has he won anything? Not in a very long time. I am completely on board with this. I would love for Rahm to miss the cut. It'd be great. Not that I dislike John Rahm, as I have zero John Rahm. I'm not betting him. I know he's going to be the highest owned guy. I'd like to see him just shoot like 80 day one.
Yeah, I struggle to see that. I think it would be an interesting, and maybe you have a super easy, quick take on it. Like if you had to take a pick between Rahm or Bryson missing the cut, I would take Bryson missing the cut.
I would take Bryson too, but what do you make of Bryson as a DraftKings play? Because no one's using him.
I know. The problem I have.
Same for me. I'm also not using him.
Yeah, I'm not using him. The problem I had is I gave him a shot at the US Open, and knowing his irons were not great at Augusta, even him being in contention. I was not following Liv that closely leading into that event, but I was like, he's a professional golfer. He's doing all this content. Obviously, he's probably getting better, and his irons were still terrible. So I just kind of am fed up with that part. And obviously, the driver is not going to be a big advantage here. And if his irons and wedges have been as bad as they were, that's not going to be a good combo. So, yeah, I'm not. If he was top 5, would that be surprising? Not really, but I don't think he's worth me plugging into any lineups this week.
This guy's a question about Taylor Pendrith. Great ball striker, but lack of experience concerning. I think great ball striker is really projecting a lot onto Taylor Pendrith.
He's a good driver.
Sometimes.
I don't know. He's pretty good on most of the time. He hits it long and hits it pretty straight.
The irons are just like a zigzag. They're either like great or horrible.
Yeah, he's not a Corey Connors good Canadian ball striker. That's a different story. But yeah, Pendrith. I'm not super high on Pendrith this week.
No.
The driving, if this was a driving course, would probably get my interest, but I just don't see that being a big deal for him here.
Yeah, when it comes to driving this week, I feel like it's one of those situations where driving isn't going to win you this tournament. It can just massively take you out of this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, like you could say someone's a great driver and it's not going to reward them so much this week. To the same point, Tom Kim's not a good driver, and that could help him a lot this week.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why, like, a lot of the guys that I took, the older guys, some of the shorter guys, that it feels like if there's a major where they can compete, this would be it.
For sure. Yeah.
Let's see. Just tuning in, Pat. What's the verdict on the early watch along? Preston, sir? I played golf with Preston in North Carolina when I was there this time last year. Good dude. Well, I'm doing it. Starts at 4 a.m. Eastern. So 5 a.m. my time. Let's see. Pat, are you building any wave stacks? I feel like I've been over this. I wrote it up. It's in the show.
People love wave stacks.
Drew and I have already talked about it. Rewind and just go figure it out. I'm not going over it again. Asked about Nick Højgaard, but covered. Thanks. All right. Thanks, Greg. Thanks always for tuning in. I thought you played Russell Henley as well. I did. He was the first name I said in my bets. Wyndham Clark, ? Banned from Oakmont, but
I love it.
I just don't see how his game translates to this course at all.
No, it's terrible. And his irons have been bad. There's nothing good about Wyndham Clark. He's also an interesting topic. We're talking about Morikawa and the mental side. Like, what goes through Wyndham's Clark when he's driving to the golf course knowing everyone hates him? Like, it can't be good for your golf game.
I feel like he was just playing. I mean, he played pretty well last week, but again, that's a course where you can drive it any course where you can drive it wherever you want. He tends to play pretty well. He played well in Houston. Obviously, he won at LA Country Club. Imagine if he hit one of the drive that he hit on the 72nd hole here. He's dead. He's like in the ocean somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's in the other internal out of bounds on another hole. He's 2 holes over.
We've covered Marco Penge. We both don't like him this week. Sean says he needs a James Hahn scream. I did one on the show earlier. My kids were asleep upstairs. Doing this from my home studio. Cannot let out a big James Hahn. Can't do that tonight. Biggest leverage play on the board is Morikawa. I think it's Neiman, but people are still using Morikawa. It's not like he's a 4% guy. He's going to be 13%, I would guess. I think Thomas will be lower owned than Morikawa.
Yeah, I have Morikawa right around 70% or so. No, I'm just kidding. I have him at 15%. Yeah, he's still getting clicked. He's definitely not as low as Neiman would be. Cantley's in the same boat, to be honest. Cantley and Neiman, I think.
Yeah, I played a bit of Cantley. Just here's the problem with Cantley. He might secret suck.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's an easy one to hate when he sucks. At least Neiman, it's like, I'll just watch somebody else. Cantley kind of irks you all week. Like, how could I play this guy?
Oh, this is actually a good question. Although your ownerships are all over the place, so I don't know. So, do you agree with Tambo that earlier that Connors is going to be popular? I don't think that he is, and like by that I mean 7 to 10%. That'll be it for him. Not your usual 19% like in most majors.
Yeah, I don't have him that high. I do have him over 11.
Okay. In one and done, I was wondering what Ludwig ends up pulling. Less than 1%, I would guess. He's either been used or no one's using him here.
Yeah. Are you worried about percentages at this stage of one and dones? Because I
am. We talked about this on the earlier show because I'm in 79th and I want to make a move back to the top of the board.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can't use Rahm and I can't use Hatton because I know the people ahead of me are using those guys.
Yeah, but where are you going to use them? You can't.
I can't use them. If I want to move up, I can't.
Okay,
I can't take them and move up. I have to take someone else.
Have they been used so little up to this point, though? Like in the other majors, they weren't used that much. It was Scotty and Xander and those guys.
I mean, it was Bryson. Bryson was the one from Live. Like Rahm got some, but Rahm is still available to 60% of the field, and I would imagine that most people that don't use Rahm use Hatton.
Yeah, that's true. That sucks though, because you kind of think about waiting to use Rahm for a good week, and it's got to be the majors, obviously. So this would be a great one.
Yeah, no. So if I was in first place, I'd use John Rahm.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Didn't think about that. I just assumed you'd only had so few good guys left, and I would just be clicking them. But yeah, good point.
It's just for the majors, knowing that you can use the live guys here, that there will be a focus on using them. And Rahm's probably going to be the most owned guy on DraftKings. He's the most like bet on guy this week. He's going to be super popular.
So that's why you're rooting for the miscut for Rahm.
There it is, right there. I like John Rahm. I actually think it'd be a fun story if John Rahm won.
So you got to hedge with DFS. You got to just play the DFS, fade him in the one and done.
Is Hideki a dog in this tournament? I mean, I bet him to win, so I certainly hope so. Can't believe asking this, but thoughts on Phil? I have no thoughts on Phil.
No. He does fit the old guy mold, but he's not exactly short and straight. So no thanks on Phil.
This guy has come back with Jason Koch. Jason Kokrak, 4-4 cuts made in the Open, 30th here in 2019. Lol. This might be Jason Kokrak.
I really thought you were about to say 4-4 cuts made on Live in the last couple of months or something, and I was going to lose it. Great stats.
I mean, man, he came 30th here. Got to use him.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Let's see. What's good, my dude? It's so good seeing you striving. More blessings to you. What the fuck is that all about? This is not a blessings channel, put it that way. My question to you is, how do you feel about playing Tom McKibben in DFS? I'm in. I'm playing Tom McKibben in DFS. I'm playing him.
Yep, ditto.
Pat, any chance you would take Hovland in one and done if you've used all the big guns? No, me personally, not a chance. I think he's dead on arrival here.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like you do.
No, I have a little more hope in him. The one and done question throws me for a loop because now I'm thinking like, what would I have and how many people would have used him now? I have no idea what the numbers would be. But yeah, I do have some interest in Hovland, yes.
All right. Thoughts on Novak? Again, I have none.
No. And he's been playing a bit worse. So no.
Morikawa, arguably the most unlikable guy on tour now. I really think Wyndham Clark is the answer.
Yeah, he just doesn't do interviews or do anything. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely Wyndham Clark. He sucks.
who are you fearful that you'll miss out on? The answer to me is Siwoo Kim. Someone asked me this earlier, that who is a player that you wanted to bet and just didn't end up like getting around to? It would be Siwoo. Last May, like got into the field on the Ernie WD, kind of sets up perfectly for this course.
I do like Siwoo. Yeah.
Maybe
Who was
I'll
the
just
second
bet
one
it.
you said?
I'll put a secret. It won't be a secret bet between us on the show. I'm gonna go bet Siwoo right now, so I don't feel that FOMO if it happens. What the hell are his odds? Like 150?
Siwoo is, yeah, I see 120, but that could be low. There could be a better book than that.
Let's check on Cool Bet. Let's check on 365. Really shop around here. Tom Kim 140 to 1. Okay, that's interesting. Siwoo, Minwoo. Minwoo would be a 110 to 1. I don't like that at all. Let me check over here. See if I can get some Siwoo in my life. Minwoo is interesting. I know the driver is the weapon for him, but the chipping and putting are really good too. And he's played well like in this region of the world.
In Ireland, or just away from the States?
Away from the States, just
Yeah.
just in Great Britain in general, just on these slower greens, he's played pretty well.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest in him, but again, I could be bought in a little bit. I probably just don't play him here. His last few starts weren't the best, so I get your point, but no thanks. His putting actually sucks a lot, huh?
His putting, well, he's one of the few, like Grazerman's kind of the same way, although he's turning it around. It's not that he's a great putter, it's that when he's a great putter, he's the best putter.
I see that. Yeah. Wow. He gains more putting on the good weeks than Bryson gains off the tee on the good weeks. Fantastic. So yeah, no, I'll probably pass on Minwoo Lee, but rooting for him.
Okay, there we go. Siwoo Kim 150 to 1. No, I do not want to bet $150 on that. I will bet $25 on that. All right, we're in with Siwoo 150.
Clip this when he wins. You could have put
great.
150 on him.
You guys sounded down on Pendrith. I think it's because we were.
Yes. Yeah, not high.
Yeah, no, he's not in my player
Canadians.
Pool. Who would be your least favorite player to see win?
It's a big list.
Probably Cantlay.
Really?
Yeah, just I'm trying to think of like who, like, I mean, we're not talking about guys with like legitimately no chance to win. Hey, who would we get to where I wouldn't feel good somehow about their win? Like if Fleetwood wins, I'd be happy for Fleetwood. If Hatton wins, I'd be happy for Hatton, even though I'm not betting on them. But we get to Cantlay, it's like, oh man, really? This was the Cantlay tournament?
I think Wyndham Clark's an obvious choice. I think Colin
No,
Morikawa.
I disagree. I think Wyndham Clark winning would be great.
Funny.
That would be fantastic. The tour needs villains so badly, and they need good villains. They need, like, Morikawa winning would be fantastic. People would be so mad. 3 majors for Colin Morikawa?
Yeah, so Cantlay's a good choice. I think Morikawa would be my least favorite after everything that's going on. For him to stand up there and think, nope, the world's owed to me again. It was his little stupid dog shoes. I would hate it. So that would be mine.
Let's see here. Straka or Griffin? I think we're both team Straka.
Yeah, I actually don't have a lot of Griffin. I don't know what your thoughts are on him, but yeah, Straka for sure.
Yeah,
Griffin,
really
I have not clicked at all.
Maybe I should be thinking of Griffin. He's having a great year, but just, I mean, Straka's been my pick to win this tournament for 5 months, so I'm not changing that.
Yeah. It's just been such a high for Ben Griffin. I just got to imagine it has to come down at some point. It might have already after the John Deere. We'll see.
Let's see. Who's got steam that you want to get away from? I didn't see like a lot of guys get steamed, honestly. It seems like it's been pretty static throughout the week of where the guy's ownership has been and where it's going to. Unless you've noticed someone like really Harry Hall is the one that's seemingly getting out of control. So I'm just not playing.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I haven't tracked that, and that would seem unusual to me to be that high, but I could just be wrong. Because I haven't heard that much chatter about him, and looking through stuff, he definitely didn't pop for me. So I don't know if anybody else has gotten crazy steamed, to be honest.
Hovland seems to keep rising. He seems to be the guy in the like below Hatton in the 8Ks that's just drawing all the attention. Thus leaving Neiman, Cantlay, Morikawa, and Thomas like shrinking and shriveling in terms of ownership. And no one has mentioned the name Brooks Koepka all week except for his knee injury.
Yeah. The interesting one would be like between, I don't know exactly how great the ownership projections change throughout the week because they come from so many different places. But like Rory and John Rahm seem like the inverse of what I would have expected this week anyways. Like Rory would have gone up and Rahm would have went down. It seems like it went the opposite. So if anything, I would argue Rahm got steamed, or despite of Rory. So that'd be my take.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I think that Rory's a clear number 3 of the big 3 in terms of ownership right now. It's Rahm. Scotty's just hard to play, but people will find a way to play him and use Harry Hall and Mav McNeely and Nick Taylor and those 3 guys. Then you can build a lineup again. Rory just kind of makes the most sense. So, and I like him more than Rahm anyway. Oh, Pat, I have a Cam Young correlation. Oh, this will be fun. The same course designer of Portrush designed the best course in New Jersey, where Cam is from. I thought he was from New York.
I thought he was too.
I think Goddard's from New Jersey.
Well, there you go. It's in the tea leaves. We just got to dig.
Scarborough, New York is where Cameron David Young is from. Maybe he grew up in Jersey. I don't know.
Did they even have boats back then when this course was being built? How did he get to New York?
Maybe it's the redesign. Brad says, shout out Drew for the Millie Maker ticket last night. Thank you guys for the last minute information. Is betting Tommy just lighting my money on fire? I would say yes.
Yeah, historically it has been. So yes.
Cantlay winning would be the saddest way to end a major season, almost like Brian Harman. Brian Harman might actually be the answer to that question. Imagine him winning again, watching him spend like 8 minutes over every shot. Oh my God.
I got a theoretical for you.
Oh no.
Thought about this last week. How about this? So you could chirp at anybody on Twitter on the PGA Tour. There's probably only a handful of guys that you wouldn't chirp to their face. Like you think about Cantlay, like if he was standing here, I'd probably say you're a douchebag. Like not really worried about Cantlay. How many guys would actually be, like I wouldn't say that to their face because there's probably not many. Tiger back in the day, Ernie Els, but now
Ernie Els is the obvious answer to this.
Yeah. But like nowadays, any of these guys, unless Shane Lowry fell on you or Bryson, I guess would be the one.
Rahm is a huge dude.
Rahm would probably be up there for sure. Brooks probably a little bit pre-knee problem, but Justin Rose, Jordan Spieth, Fitzpatrick, like all these guys, you could say anything you want to their face.
Yeah,
Ryan Fox, I probably don't want to say something to his face.
I'm not really like in the business of just like shit talking, going up to someone and just randomly shit talking them. So
I'm not either. The reason why I thought about it was somebody yelled at somebody on Twitter and they're like, "You would never say it to my face." He goes, "You're right. That's why I said it on Twitter." And I was like, "How many guys would you say on the PGA Tour and probably still say it to their face?" Probably a lot. Brian Campbell, perfect example.
I mean, I would have to be able to pick Brian Campbell out of a lineup, which I couldn't do. I'd just be talking to random people and shit talking them apparently.
Probably.
Let's rapid fire these before we get out of here.
Yeah, go ahead.
People can go to sleep and wake up for the 4 a.m.
You got a 3 a.m. call.
Who's the one guy you think has far too much ownership in DFS? I think it's Victor.
Victor Hovland?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Hatton to me, but
I much prefer Hatton than Hovland.
Okay. Then yeah, I'd side with that.
Yeah. That's okay. Is Big Roz going to make a run? I very much doubt it. That's Rosner.
Big Roz.
Rosner.
Oh, Antoine Rosner?
Yeah.
No.
Pick 2 players for my one and done pool. I got Rahm. Need a second between Connors, Rose, Brooks, Scott, Hall, and basically all the Euros and Live. Then just use Hatton. Use Hatton and Rahm.
Yeah. God, that's a long.
Has Tom
question.
Kim gotten too popular? I don't think so.
No.
Preference between Tommy, Bobby, and Lowry all seem sketchy. I don't find any of them seem sketchy, but I like Lowry the best of those 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I would probably side with Tommy and then go Lowry and Bobby. I think Bobby is probably my least favorite in that threesome.
Sink or Zach Johnson for shits and giggles? Sink.
Okay, I'd go ZJ. 50-50.
I just feel like Sink, like ball striking wise, could get it done around here.
I haven't tracked them so much on the Champions Tour. I don't know. At least ZJ has made some PGA Tour cuts. Like I said, I give a little more credit to the PGA Tour guys.
Yeah, but Zach's making like, if we're thinking about like skill wise, like where's Zach? He's doing like the John Deere in Detroit. It's not like he's some of these like major championship fields on the senior tour is stronger than that field. You got to play against Angel
Maybe.
Cabrera.
Yeah, I know. Well, Angel Cabrera brings it up a lot.
Let's see. Shoot, I'm late. Has anyone asked him to make the Magic Beans lineup yet? Might get creative lineup. We're not making lineups on the show. You missed the show earlier. Pat, if you could punt any PGA player's child into the IRK. Let's calm down here, pal. I know it's late. You're probably drinking, but like, fuck off of that. I'm not here to hit kids. Jesus Christ. If Harman wins again, would it be hilarious to see the UK people tilt over his hunting again?
Yes.
Maybe. Sure.
It
I
would
just
be
don't want
funny.
him to win. Mac Hughes and the Millie Maker, one of the best slow green putters on tour, just one of the best putters on tour. Is Oosthuizen beat at this point? His results on Live would make you seem that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah, no Oosthuizen.
Any deep shot Euros for first round leader. Always a random popping up like the Da Vinci Code last year. Let's pick one. And we'll bet on it right now. That'll be the last thing that we do on the stream. Some random Euro to be first round leader.
Lindell, I already gave him to you.
I was going to say, Wrighton's 200 to 1 to be first round leader. He's a real guy.
Yeah, Lindell should be longer than that, to be
Isn't
honest.
that the guy who sells the fucking pillows?
Yeah. He'll buy his way to the first round lead. I forgot his name again. Oliver Lindell. There he is.
Oli Lindell.
Yeah. I don't know where he's from. That might not be his accent, but
That's true. Who could do it? Julian Guerrero?
maybe.
Who is like the weirdest name that we can come up with here? You got fucked over by Langesk last week, didn't you?
Yeah, and he went low a couple of days in a row. That would be
I'll
a good
give you a feisty Euro who plays well at links courses and might have the game for here. We're putting $25 on him at 151 to 1 to be first round leader. I'm going to check this other site to see if his number's any better for first round leader before I do this. Got to find that value right now. First round leader. But now I actually have to find his name on this list. He's 150 there as well. 25 to win 37.50 on Matteo Montesero, first round leader.
Just looked at him actually, and then clicked off of him. But that makes sense.
Now we've clicked on him as first round leader. That's the feisty Euro random dude who's going to be first round leader.
Okay.
Is Daniel Brown a sleeper? Yes. People are never waking up on Daniel Brown.
They like him after 1 week. That's it.
He is the Da Vinci Code, by the way.
Oh,
this
last
guy's
year?
like all about Daniel. Listen, if you want to bet Daniel Brown first round leader so much, C May, do it. I don't fucking care what you do with your money. Do that.
It'll
right,
probably
man.
be one of these random guys too.
Are you doing like 3 balls, anything like that over at Fantasy Golf Bag?
Yeah. I don't have any off the top of my head though.
No, so they can go over there
Yeah, they can.
and find those out.
They can. Yeah, we got 3 balls and then head-to-heads when those are posted as well. We also have a parlay builder, which is pretty cool. It shows you how little your EV is, which is always sobering. But you can run 3-ball parlays and see which are the best, win equity.
Oh, this guy says to answer your question, this guy actually has the answer. Funny story. I once trolled Ryan Fox constantly on Facebook. That first sentence makes you sound like the biggest fucking loser alive, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life? His friends would stick up for him and I would continue to troll. One day, Ryan Fox personally messaged me, inviting me to come out and find out what.
See, it would have been funny if he had a twist at the end and said, "I'm Ryan Fox's dad. Nice to meet you."
But Ryan Fox is a giant fucking dude.
Oh, yeah. You probably don't want to do that.
Dad
I'm just
was
saying that would have been a funny twist. Like the guy trolled his own son, and then you don't know it until the end. It's a twist. It's
Who will have the best? That my single favorite part about the Open Championship. Michael asked who will have the best SIG game this week. Dudes smoke at the Open Championship.
Oh yeah.
And they show it. Like at the American tournaments, they don't show anyone smoking. Darren Clark is going to smoke like 3 packs during the first round.
Dude, that guy's a boss. Matt Wallace tweeted at me and then he blocked me. He did a similar story. I did not constantly harass him or troll him. I just made a tweet about him being a douchebag, and he sent me a message. He goes, "I'm a douchebag," and then he blocked me.
Well, why
didn't even get to explain?
Why is Matt Wallace a douchebag?
He was a douchebag. It was one of those old it was a DP World Tour video, and he was in a limo, and they were trolling him with Eddie Pepperell, and he just kept saying like, "Well, I'm the top 25 player in the world," blah blah blah, and he goes, "I can't believe you're taking this long." Like he was a douchebag. So I was like, "What a douchebag!" So then he messaged me, and then he blocks me immediately after. I was like, maybe I could have helped his image. I could have explained like, "Yes, you are a douchebag. You don't say that to people." You didn't understand.
Do y'all believe in Marco Penge? I believe we both came down on no on that, right?
No. No, no
All right,
punch.
that's how we'll end it. That and Mantisero. If somehow Mantisero is first round leader and Siwoo ends up winning this tournament, this will be the most profitable show I've ever done.
I hope it happens.
The
I hope it happens. That'd be great.
The 2 live ads from the show. All right. Thanks, dude, for coming on. Fantasy
Absolutely.
Golf Bag at Red to Cheek on X. Drew Matthews. You can follow him over there. I will be back at 4 a.m. Eastern time right here on Mayo Media Network doing the watch along. Then I'm playing golf at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. So, I'll be done before then. So come on. If you're up early watching the Open, come hang with us. Thank you so much for supporting the show all week. If you want to win a free driver, you can get in the draw by retweeting my article that's pinned on X right now and sharing the show around, subbing to the channel. It all goes a long way. We're trying to have a recap tomorrow. I got a fantasy football sleeper show with Jake and Ian dropping tomorrow. Cut Sweat. We might even go live after the Open concludes, Jeff and I, to do our recap then before moving on to the 3M. This is the last major of the year. Let's blow it out. I'm willing to lose a ton of money already. You've heard about the horrible bets that I've made. So you come along for the ride too. If you got the money to waste it on the Open because it's going to be a great time. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.